Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be going over the patch notes for the latest update to Helldivers 2, which covers a ton of nerfs and buffs to some certain weapons, and basically getting rid of what is quote-unquote the meta right now. I'm not going to waste any more time with an intro, let's just get right into it. Okay, so first major updates, planetary hazards are now active. This is basically going to be making the planets that we go to just incredibly more intense and just a lot more dangerous to be on. And then on top of that, many planets now have additional environmental challenges that are going to appear at random when you guys are deployed, from things like fire tornadoes to meteor showers and many more. This is kind of nuts, and I feel like this is definitely going to add to the intensity of this game, especially on those higher difficulties. And I'm really just curious to see how these different effects are going to, I guess, affect the bugs or the automatons. Like, for example, what's going to happen if these bugs actually like run into a tornado or something like that? Will it actually kill them or hurt them, or are they just going to be, ignoring it? Because this actually could turn out to be a really good tactic, right? You could like kite a bunch of these bugs or like a bile titan towards a fire tornado to help kill it. That'd be really cool. Moving on to balancing. So eradicate missions. Eradicate missions now require more kills and enemies spawn more often. The time to complete the mission was previously shorter than intended and should now usually take twice as long to complete. So obviously this is them seeing that people are just, doing those XP farms with the mortars, and this is them just trying to, I guess, nerf that approach and make them a little bit harder and a little bit longer to do. Moving on to primary, secondary, and support weapons. Okay, so here's the first nerf to the meta. So that breaker shotgun that everyone's been using, this one's been nerfed pretty good. So they've decreased the magazine capacity from 16 to 13, and then they've also increased the recoil of this gun from 30 to 55. So it looks like the gun's still going to be useful, but I feel like it's not going to be able to be used as like a beamer. I know in a lot of situations I was actually able to use it as kind of like a ranged gun, I'd be able to hit my targets from pretty far away and get headshots. So I think it's going to be a little bit harder to use this thing, especially now with the recoil increased. So this is definitely going to be something that you're not going to really be able to, I guess, like spray and pray with, right? Next up, we've got the Railgun. So they're decreasing the armor penetration in safe mode, and they're also decreasing the damage against durable enemy parts. So with just this description alone, it's, at least to me, it seems like it's kind of hard to tell exactly how, I guess, ineffective this thing is going to be now. I feel like it's still going to work, but I guess it's just going to really take testing to see, how many hits it's going to take to kill a Bile Titan now, right? Moving on to the Flamethrower. So this is one that I'm really excited about. So they literally just increased the damage per second on the Flamethrower by 50%. This is huge, and I feel like this is definitely going to bring out more Flamethrower users in the game now. I know I'm personally going to be probably using it exclusively now, just because it's a flamethrower. Flamethrowers are fun to use in video games. On to the laser cannon. So they've increased the damage against durable enemy parts, and they've also increased the armor penetration and improved the ergonomics of it. I don't really know what the ergonomic part of it does, but I will say from experience, when I first started playing this game, the laser cannon was probably one of the first things that I actually unlocked and was using, but I found out really quickly that it's kind of useless. You'd be sitting there like channeling it on an enemy, and you're just seeing your laser beam literally ricocheting off their armor. So it was not really fun to use, and it just kind of like demoralized me. So the fact that they're doing this now, I might need to pick it up and give it a shot, because it sounds like it's going to be actually a little bit useful now. And now we're taking a look at the Punisher. So they're increasing the total ammo capacity from 40 to 60, they're increasing the stagger force, and they're also increasing the damage from 40 per bullet to 45 per bullet. I personally didn't spend a lot of time using the Punisher myself, but with these changes, I'm definitely going to give it a shot now and kind of see how effective it is. Next up, we've got the Breaker Spray and Pray. Increase the armor penetration, increase the fire rate from 300 to 330, increase the number of pellets from 12 to 16 per shot, and decrease the magazine size from 32 to 26. So again, this one's kind of like a buff slash nerf. This one's definitely going to be really good to use in a pinch, but I would say probably not a gun that you're going to want to rely on exclusively. On to the Stratagem. So another nerf to the meta here, the Energy Shield Backpack. They have increased the delay before recharging. So it looks like it's going to be a lot longer, and I feel like people are not going to be able to rely on this thing all the time anymore. And in my opinion, I'm actually glad they're nerfing this one, because I personally was not a fan of it. I always like to rock the support backpack and carry extra ammo, and with this thing, with the energy shield one being, I guess, meta, you're just always running out of ammo. So I feel like I could survive a little bit longer and be able to shoot things with extra ammo. So again, I'm glad this is a nerf. And then for the 380mm and the 120mm orbital barrages, they've increased the duration of the bombardment for each of these, but then they've also decreased the spread of them. So they're making them a little bit longer of a duration and a little bit more accurate, I guess. I don't really know how I feel about these two ones because I personally never use them, but again, I think it's going to be really interesting and fun to experiment and just see how well these work out now. Alright, so now that we've got all the buffs and nerfs out of the way, let's take a quick look at the bug fixes. Fixed armor rating values not reducing damage as intended. Fixed certain bug holes, including stalker nests, that were unnecessarily hard to destroy. Fixed anti-aliasing toggle not working on the PS5. Balanced lighting across all planets to solve cases where the game was too dark. Improved flashlight efficiency. This one's kind of interesting because I feel like I didn't really need a flashlight in this game, but now with these new weather effects and things like that, we're probably gonna need it. Increased visibility during sand rain weather on Eretta Prime. Updated tutorial materials and lighting. Improved cases where some materials could look blurry if lighting graphic setting was set too low. Fixed timing issues that could occur in the extract E710 primary objective. Change button interaction behavior for buttons in bunker POIs. Helldivers will now let go of the button after holding it for a few seconds. Fix some cases of large assets floating if the ground beneath them was blown up. Helldivers standing next to the ICBMs during launch will now properly get toasty and have a chance of not so spontaneous combustion. That's pretty cool. Fixed unthrowable snowballs after ragdolling. Fixed being able to use grenades after drowning. Camera no longer locked on the player's own corpse and block spectator mode. That's a good one. Helldivers now take damage from fire, gas, etc. generated from other players. That's crazy. And armor no longer stretches when dismembered. That was a pretty funny bug I've seen quite often where, your body just goes flying and you see like your head attached, just like covering the entire screen stretched to oblivion. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad they fixed that. And then lastly, I'm not going to cover all of this. I just want to put this on the screen for you guys to check out. These are the currently known issues that they're planning on working on, which are going to be fixed at a later time. And that is going to wrap up this video on the latest patch notes for Helldivers. I have to say, personally, after checking out these patch notes, I'm actually pretty happy with the balancing of the game so far. I'm actually really glad that they're being so quick to adjust and shift the meta because I feel like a game like this, it's intended for us to have fun and use a bunch of different stuff. Games like this get really boring and stale if there's like a meta that everyone just sticks to. And I know there's been some really toxic players out there that are like kicking people out of their groups if they don't have the meta weapons, which is really cringe, by the way. So again, I'm glad that they're doing this, and I really hope that they keep up with this because I feel like this game is going to be a ton of fun if everything is balanced well. But of course, balancing a game these days is definitely a marathon and not a sprint. If you guys enjoyed this one, let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. If you would like to support me and the work that I do here, the best way to do that is by clicking that join button on my page. The cheapest tier is just $1. I made it that way because I want people to be able to support me and not feel like they're losing a ton of money in the process. And also, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on these changes. I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you think these buffs and nerfs are warranted, or do you think it's kind of dumb? Thanks again for watching. I'm still Solo, and I'll see you guys in the next one.